In 2022, there used to be a student that was very, very hardworking, but wanted to get good grades, but just couldn't. And he couldn't seem to figure out why. Now, let me see if you can figure out why this guy couldn't get good grades. Whenever he used to revise for tests or exams or like end of years, when he used to get his results, instead of doing what a normal person would do and looking at their results, this guy used to open his results, and if they were good, he used to barge into set 8 and he used to declare that he's the smartest one there, and he used to like boast on all of the set 8 like simpletons about how he got 50% in his maths GCSE. And if he got bad results in his end of years, he used to completely like go home, he would lock himself in his room, and he used to go on Reddit and cry about how a school is part of the psyop, and like drop shipping's the way, and like the education system isn't that good. What do you think this guy should have done better? Well, this person was me. What I should have done better was, instead of being this like weird guy and like trying to show my results off, I should have acknowledged the grade I received from the test and just really concentrated on the vehicle that got me there. If I could have changed the destination or what I did to get the result and how I could improve that, that would have eventually given me such a better grade in the future than if I would have just like taken my result and just like showed off in front of the world. Because honestly, the hard work was done. I revised for the test. Now all I needed to do was just like analyze what I did wrong leading up to the exam and improve that. That's how progress is made. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing exactly that. I'm going to be showing you exactly how I analyze what I did wrong leading up to my exam and just focus on improving in the future. If you don't know who I am a year 12 student studying maths, further maths, computer science and physics, and I've just done my end of year 12 end of year exams. And I've received my predicted grade. So if you don't know what predicted grades are, these are like grades you need to apply to universities. Universities will accept applicants based on these grades. So these grades are pretty important, right? And I just received them. So I'm going to be analyzing each one of my subjects one by one and seeing what I did wrong, telling you my predicted grade, and just seeing what I could have done better. I'm not going to be one of those like clickbaity, like reactionary channels. I'm not going to like cry over my results or something. I'm literally just going to look at my results in a purely stoic and pragmatic manner and just see what I can improve. So let's get started with A-level maths. A-level maths is probably like the most common subject that everyone sort of takes. And thankfully, I got predicted an A star in the end of year 12 exam. I got 87 out of 100 in my end of year mock. And yeah, I did pretty well. How we did it was basically we got a full A-level paper because we covered all of the A-level syllabus, year 1 and year 2. And yeah, I think I banged this paper. I did pretty well when it comes to maths. And the good thing I did, I would say, one thing I've learned that I need to continue into year 13 is that I kept something called a mistake document. So a lot of people, that when they like practice maths, they just like, you know, do the practice questions and then just like leave the paper, just mark the paper and go on. Instead of that, I wanted to concentrate more on where I went wrong. And so what I did was, throughout the year, I kept a document of like the key topics I got wrong in maths. So for example, if I'm doing like a mechanics paper and I don't understand how to do connected particles, I would put on my mistake document that I needed work on this specific part of connected particles. This idea was given to me by a YouTuber called Ray Amjad, so go subscribe to him. He's a really good YouTuber, and I think that this gave me a really good advantage over everyone else, because everyone else was just like, you know, doing the practice papers, they were just doing the questions, marking them, and then just chucking the papers in the bin. And I think like that one extra step forward in analyzing my mistakes and exactly where I went wrong and putting it on this mistake document, so when I go over this mistake document, which I try to do like quite often, I would know where I'm like missing marks. So that's a good thing that I did. One thing I should have done more of when it came to maths is I should have done questions in timed conditions. When it came to my end of year, I literally didn't finish the paper. And that was purely based on the fact that I was doing these questions. I was doing like A-level maths question. I was doing everything that my teachers told me to do. But one thing that I think they missed out, or I missed out, is that you really have to do these questions in timed practice. Maths is an incredibly complex and hard subject, and that's just without timed conditions. If you put in the factor of time in, it becomes insane. So like practicing these questions in timed conditions would have given me way more marks, I think, in my opinion. Because like, yeah, in the actual end of year exam, I was halfway through like a big question when the invigilator said stop. So I was just like, oh man, I should have done this in timed conditions. So going forward into year 13, I'm going to do questions with this mistake document when it comes to maths in timed conditions. For example, when I go to like physics and maths tutor, or if I do a past paper, I'll do it like with a little bit, like if the paper is 2 hours long, I'll try to do it in 1 hour, 45 minutes, just to like improve my timed conditions. So yeah, that's A-level maths done, A star, patterned it. I'm pretty happy. Let's go on to the next subject, which is A-level further maths. Now, in A-level further maths, I also am blessed to get a predicted grade of an A star. I got 38 out of 50 in my end of year exam, which is I got 76% in my end of year exam, which is all right. Like, I think the grade boundary for an A star was 60% when it came to further maths, just because of how like weird the grade boundaries are and stuff. So 76% is a good enough score to give me the A star. A good thing that I did when it came to further maths A level is I did standard questions. A lot of people miss this, at least for me. When I came into further maths, you have like all right, imagine this, right? You're in A level, you come into year 12, and the people taking further maths, like think about the ideal person who would take A level further maths. They wouldn't be like your average roadman Dave from down the road who like, I don't know, just got like a 4 in maths. It would be the highest caliber of math students, or highest caliber of students in the UK, right? So everyone, when it came to further maths, at least, or like the average student when it comes to maths, everyone has this like ego or like this really big passion when it comes to maths. You wouldn't take further maths willingly or like just for fun. I mean, you wouldn't take further maths A level just for the bands. So the type of person that takes further maths is the type of person that has this like passion for like maths, or like for learning or academics in general. So when it came to further maths, a lot of people, when they learned the topic, they would go on and do like some like university, like PhD, like research in this topic, understanding how each individual component works, instead of just doing the normal thing of just doing the questions. I feel like I'm not very representative of someone who like is very academic, at least for me. I'm not like that. I don't know. I am passionate about maths, but not as like passionate. I don't go home and like research maths compared to other people who actually like do. There are some people who literally come home and all they do is just research like PhD papers on maths. So I'm not one of those. So when it came to maths, a lot of people, they just didn't do the practice questions, and they would go on and do like weird revision-y style things instead of just doing the standard A-level practice. And when it comes to further maths, if you're taking it next year, all of the questions are pretty much the same. So like, I know how weird that sounds, but literally, if you take a topic, let's say roots of polynomials, it's a topic in A-level, like AS further maths. All of the questions are pretty much exactly the same. There's only one process you need to follow. And if you just go watch TL Maths, who's like a maths YouTuber, if you go watch this one guy and then do practice questions from A-level, you will get that topic. You don't need to go away and like understand how like in 1946 roots of polynomials was derived by like integral calculus through like partial fractions. You don't need to like go away and do that. All you need to do is just go away and just practice the questions in a standard A-level style of paper. And a lot of people get this wrong when it comes to further maths. So a good thing that I did was I just stuck to doing normal A-level practice questions. And I think that gave me a pretty good head start when it comes to other people. On the contrary, something that I should have done going forward is sort of understanding how things work. So like, all right, so you don't need to go in depth of like exactly how like something's derived, but you sort of need to have the idea of how this works. Like, you shouldn't be that one student being too in depth or like going too much in research of like how this was derived. But you shouldn't also be the student who doesn't know how this works and you just use the formula. It needs to be like somewhere in between. And this is where I kind of went wrong. I would literally just like look at the videos for further maths, or I would just like listen to my teacher. No, I wouldn't really listen to my teacher, but I would like go over my textbook and I would like sort of spot a pattern, and then I would just use that in my like practice questions. And of course, this did give me like A star. This is how you get the good grades. But I feel like I would have been a lot more satisfied if I would have learned how the maths works. And talking about learning, one good way you can do this is through the application Brilliant, who's also the sponsor of this video. Brilliant is an absolutely incredible application that has a variety of lectures and lessons on anything related to math, science, or STEM related topics in general. If you want to go into this industry in the future, or you're just curious about how STEM related topics work, I would thoroughly recommend you Brilliant due to its interactive approach to learning. It's been proven that Brilliant, the lesson structure of Brilliant as well, it has been 6 times more effective than other traditional ways of learning. And if you really think about this, right, if you're just passively learning in class, or like you're just reading a textbook, you have this ability to just daydream and detach from the subject at hand. But due to its interactive first principles approach at Brilliant, it doesn't really give you the leeway to daydream or just like think about something else when it comes to learning the topic. And this means that it's much more solidified in your brain, and it forms much more like stronger neural connections for that topic in your brain. Another really cool thing about Brilliant is that all of the content within the lectures and the lessons have been crafted by very prestigious people at organizations that are also very respected, such as Google, Caltech, Microsoft, and other universities such as MIT. Like I said, again, I can genuinely say from the bottom of my heart that this is 100% the best way to learn. There is no other way that is not active that's better than this, just because of how engaging the content is and how it lets you play with the topic at hand. Personally, I've been using Brilliant to further my understanding on hard maths topics such as calculus, because I used to think that calculus was just something you do in maths and you don't really think about it in the real world. But this has really changed my mindset on that. I've now realized that it's not this independent thing you just think about somewhere else or sometime else, but calculus really affects our world today when it comes to like a variety of different topics such as computer science, maths, and even physics as well. If you really want to further your understanding on these complex STEM related topics, go to brilliant.org/Shamalam to get a free 30-day trial and also 20% off your annual membership right now. So now we've gone over exactly how I could have improved in my further math skills, which is basically just understanding more. I think I did enough practice questions. Now let's go on to A-level physics. Now, my predicted grade for A-level physics is, I'm blessed to say, is an A-star as well. And in my end of year exam, I got 90% out of, I think it was like out of, 80. And it was out of 70 and I got 62 out of 70, which is a pretty good score, right? Now, a lot of people, I have this like rant going on when it comes to physics. So I'm going to say what I did good when it comes to physics. But a lot of people, when it comes to A-level physics, they really, really overcomplicate it. Like I see a lot of people online, and I'm like a contributor to this as well. When I came into year 12, I was honestly scared when it came to physics. I was genuinely actually scared of the amount of people saying that it was this insanely difficult subject that like no one can grasp. And even my teachers were saying, this subject is really, really hard. But what I discovered is that if you just sort of understand how things work, and then you just do practice questions, you'll be so much ahead of everyone else. Like, all right, so this leads me on to like the good thing I did when it comes to physics. When it came to physics, all I did, because of how much like noise there was on the like sort of things you needed to do for physics, like a lot of people were doing, they were paying like thousands of pounds to do tuition in physics. They were like researching papers on like particle generators, or like researching physics books on like the topic to get a deeper understanding. All I did when it came to physics was I just did the practice questions. All I did, that was literally my only source of revision. I would make some like basic flashcards from the website physicsandmathstutor.com, but other than that, I would literally just go and do practice questions. Now, I think that this helped me a lot, because I'm gonna say this, I don't understand exactly how everything works in physics. I'm not that like, I don't like deeply understand how certain topics interlink with each other. I don't know like how everything's derived through calculus or something. But what I can say is I've gotten good at the skill of answering physics questions. Now, these are two different things, and a lot of people confuse this. You don't need to be good at physics to get good in the exam. Contrary to popular belief, like these two do have a correlation. But if you just practice doing the questions, getting the marks, that's how you get the grade. It's not like You don't have to do additional research on physics to get a better grade. All you need to do is just understand how things work and then do more practice questions. You don't want to be that one guy in your class that goes away and does like hours and hours of research on like particle generators or something, and you come back and then you still suck at physics in the exam. You still get like 20%. Because I've had so many people in my class, I wouldn't say in my class, but like so many people I know that go away and try to act smart and like act like this academic, and go away and like they like build websites on particle physics. They like write on their LinkedIn post that I've done research in this particle physics accelerator generator like electricity thing, and they still get trash grades. You don't want to be that one guy. And the way you can avoid that is literally by doing the practice questions and then marking them. So this is my little rant on physics. A lot of people overcomplicate it, and I could look like a total like stupid person if I go away and get like a D in my actual A-level end of year 13 exam. But from my experience, at least from year 12, I've gotten very good grades, like quite good grades, just by doing the practice questions. One thing I do need to carry on into year 13 though is I should do like a variety of questions. And just because like it's not like other subjects where there's not like an exam specific like board. The exam boards don't really matter. So if I do like a variety of questions when it comes to physics from different exam boards, not even like A-level, if I do like some, I don't know, like Olympiad questions or like, yeah, physics Olympiad questions, that will really help my understanding or like thinking outside the box when it comes to physics. Because at least for this year, 2024, apparently like the physics paper was insane. Like a lot of people didn't really recognize it, and I feel like AQA is that type of exam board that will do that. And like AQA is that type of exam board that like changes the difficulty of exams based like year by year. So I think by doing like the absolute hardest sort of like out of the box thinking style questions in physics, I feel like that could prepare me for the end of year exams. But that's just like a personal note. Anyway, this brings me on to the last subject that I took, which is computer science. My predicted grade for computer science is an A. However, what my teacher did say is that in September I have a reset that gives me the advantage to bump myself up to an A star, just because I slightly underperformed in my end of years and my teachers didn't really expect that. They thought I was going to get an A star, so I think I got like an A. So yeah, they just said that in September they're just going to give me the opportunity to bump me up to an A star so I can get 4 A stars. But what did I do good when it comes to computer science? The good thing I did was, like maths, I created a mistake document. A document wherein, wherever like the keywords, I know that computer science is this subject where like the keywords or like the mark scheme matters a lot. So now if you have this method of documenting exactly where you've gone wrong in each question, the sort of keywords you need to use in each question, I think I'll put like a picture up here of my mistake document for computer science. If you have like a document where you can have like keywords that you need to use per question for each style of question, that really helps you gain marks in the exam. And I think that this really helped me when it came to like end of topic test to get the A star. Now, what I did wrong when it came to computer science was in my end of year we had a programming paper as well, and I'm ashamed to say that I practiced programming and stuff. I sat down with my dad and we went through like programs, like very hard programs as well, to practice for the exam. But what like completely blindsided me was that I didn't practice them in timed conditions. And yeah, this cost me the A star. The fact that I didn't practice doing the questions in timed conditions, specifically like in very, very high pressure, high time conditions, that cost me in the exam. Because in the exam I went there with like an unprepared mindset, and I sat down and I didn't finish the questions. That cost me the grade, but hopefully it didn't cost me the A star, so I can still get predicted and stuff. But yeah, that's something I need to carry on into year 13. I need to understand that in programming especially, I do need to practice programming in timed conditions. So yeah, these are my key takeaways when it came to the exam. I need to take in these lessons I've learned from the subject and not boast about my grades online or stuff, and just literally just try and implement these into my revision strategy when it comes to year 13. Now, like the actionable step of this video is done. I want to tell you a bit more about my transformation, because a lot of people don't really know me. I feel like a lot of people online don't really know my story. So I am a year 12. However, for the past 2 years, up until 2 years ago, I wasn't really, how do I put this, the best student when it came to like academics and stuff. I was an obese, dumb student who was getting like very mediocre grades. It's a long story, but I literally couldn't read when it came to GCSE. So I would try and read like the books they set for our English literature or like English language and stuff, and I would try and read the sentence. And when I would like read 3 words, I would read the next word and I would forget what I just wrote. Read, wrote. Bro, I don't even know. The grade 9 English language isn't helping that much. But yeah, read, I think. Yeah, I forgot what I read the previous like 3 words ago. And from that point, like, yeah, I was a degenerate, dumb, obese student. In 2 years, I've genuinely changed like a lot. I've gone from getting very mediocre grades that disappointed my parents. Of course, I'm Indian, so like I have immigrant parents, so like they expected me to get good grades in school, and I disappointed them and stuff. And I've gone from that to now getting the best grades you can get in A-levels. I got pretty much all A stars at A-level predicted. I've been performing pretty well throughout year 12. I got like very, very good grades when it came to GCSE. Like nearly all A stars. You can go see my GCSE video somewhere. I'll link it somewhere. And yeah, I've become this like bodybuilder into like fitness sort of guy. I've pretty much completely reversed the health conditions I used to get. This is a story for another time, but basically like when I was in year 10, we had this like health checkup thing from the NHS, which is basically like this like thing where doctors used to come into school and they used to check your height and then weight. And I came in like BMI wise in like the obese section, so I had like serious health conditions. I had like this fatty liver disease. I literally couldn't, like, I would walk upstairs and I couldn't breathe. That's how unfit I was. And I went from that to being pretty fit now. I nearly have a 6-pack. I'm into like bodybuilding, and yeah, my parents are no longer disappointed, and I think I've come quite a long way. I also have this YouTube channel that has thousands of people that look up to me. So yeah, I think my story should be a model of how you can change very much in 2 years. And I wouldn't even say it took me 2 years. It took me like 6 months of just grinding to get to this point. So if you're this person who's like not really getting good grades, or you're somewhere in life you don't really want to be right now, I can tell you that just starting the grind, just being somewhat consistent in like grinding when it comes to work or academics or like fitness, will take you a long way. And you will probably be better than me. Like honestly, if you can read right now, you'll probably be better than me. You'll get better grades than me. You're probably smarter than me. You'll probably mog me when it comes to academics and grades, if you, or like fitness, if you just put in the work. So this is just like words of motivation. It's so nice to be the guy that everyone looks up to now. And I come from the other side of like looking up to students who used to get these good grades, and I didn't really know how they worked. When I was a kid, I used to watch people like Udoka Fintelman, like Revishan, and I really used to be inspired. So hopefully this video has inspired you. I want to motivate my audience to be the best version of themselves possible. And if you are looking for content like that to improve your academics, become more academic in nature, improve your fitness, consider subscribing to this channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.